Barcelona don't need Nico Williams.
Messi shines at 37 and makes history in the Club World Cup.
Is Nico Williams making it pretty clear, certainly according to reports, that Barcelona are his preferred destination, not interested in the Premier League, in Bayern Munich. He wants to go to Barcelona.
And Rafinha seemed to be on his way out to make space for Nico Williams. Now, he goes on to have the sort of season in which some people would argue, and I wouldn't argue against it, that he should be one of the front runners for Ballon d'Or. That's the sort of season that Rafinha had for Barcelona. And the reward for his performance is, you know what? You know that thing that was pushing you out the door last summer? We're actually gonna go and revisit that. Now, I'm not against Nico Williams being part of Barcelona, because if you look at Spain play and you have Lamine Yamal on one side, Nico Williams on the other side, yeah, that's pretty dynamic. But those are not, when I think of the issues that Barcelona has on the field, that's not one of them. Attacking is not a problem. Scoring goals is not a problem. Was not a problem this past season. And so in terms of needs for Barcelona, and this is where I would stress, if this is a criticism and I want to build it as so.
Did I hear that right? Barcelona doesn't need Nico Williams because it already has Rafinha, according to Moreno?
Barcelona don't need Nico Williams. They don't, in terms of priorities. I suppose if he just falls on your lap, you take him. But this is not falling in your lap. You're reaching out to go and get him. Again. And it was proven that you didn't need him to be as explosive as you were. Name me another team in Europe that was as explosive consistently and as dynamic as Barcelona were in the attack last season. You can't come up with a team. And so I must say, if I could speak Catalan, I would say I have no clue.
That statement sounds less like analysis and more like a desperate cry from someone who still feels the trauma of Barca's thrashing of Real Madrid during the season. And now, with Nico's possible arrival, the fear only grows, because Barcelona's attack not only improves, it becomes lethal. Nico and Rafinha are players with complementary profiles, which expand the team's offensive options. With Nico, Barca gains depth in the squad, true width on the left, and freedom for Rafinha, Louis, and Yamal to unbalance wherever they want. So, let's be serious. Rafinha has scored decisive goals, shown personality in big games, and adapted well to the right side, both as an open winger and coming in more centrally. He has exceeded expectations thanks to Hansi Flick's work, and he has given several interviews acknowledging Flick's impact on his Ballon d'Or-worthy career. Why do I say this? Because Hansi Flick knows how to mold players. If he is pushing to sign Nico Williams, it is because he has a plan and knows the team's difficulties. The coach who has won the Champions League and the Bundesliga and worked with the best in the world would be the most qualified person to say that we need Nico at Barcelona and not Moreno. ESPN spends the entire season criticizing Barca and now pretends to be concerned about tactical redundancy. Funny, isn't it? They said that Real Madrid didn't need Mbappé, and look, he arrived, started with difficulties, like any player who changes context, and ended up becoming the best player on the team and the top scorer in Europe. Meanwhile, Lewandowski, who was still decisive in several games, saw the Pichichi slip away not because of a lack of quality, but because he missed a few games due to injury in the final stage of the championship. But for Barca, signing more than 2 forwards is a crime against logic. They just don't like Barcelona. The season hasn't even started, and they're already upset about the idea of the club strengthening itself. It seems that the stronger Barca becomes, the more they fear it. Now, why does Nico Williams make all the sense? He is a natural and vertical left winger. Barca has suffered for years without a natural elite left winger. Since Neymar, it's all been improvisation. Nico is a bottom line, 1 versus 1, speed, strong cross, something that cannot be taught. Complementarity with Rafinha, they don't clash. On the contrary, they complement each other perfectly. Rafinha prefers to play floating behind Louis or Ferran with Pedri further back and can look for more shots and short diagonals. Nico's attacking characteristics allow him to open up the field. One stretches, the other infiltrates. Flick may finally have 2 combinations that maintain width, essential in Barca's positional play. Young, Spanish, identified with the new generation of the national team, Nico has been growing up with Gavi, Lamine, Pedri, and Fermin. They are friends and speak the same football and mental language. This is not just any purchase, it is a structural piece of a new long-term project. Elite mentality and physique. He can handle big games and decide under pressure. Did you see what he did against the elite national teams? Lamine and Nico destroying defenses together. Imagine that in Barcelona's daily routine. It's not about replacing Rafinha. It's about enhancing Barcelona's entire offensive system. We still have some injury risks, although Flick's hard work to ward off this evil is going well. But don't forget that we had injuries to Louis, Kounda, Balde, and other important players. What if Lamine or Rafinha are injured for 2 months? Are we going to play with Pau Victor? Remember Ansu Fati playing at Monaco? Use Ferran again as a makeshift winger? Ferran is better as a winger? You would have less physical overload on Yamal, 18 years old, and Rafinha. You mean PSG can have 4 top-level wingers, but Barca can only have 2? Moreno, I think that's an unfair analysis. In the last 2 La Liga seasons, Lamine Yamal had 231 successful dribbles, while Nico Williams had 154. 2 lethal young wingers, dribblers, creating imbalance in defenses, crossing with quality, or cutting inside to finish. That's exactly what a team like Barca needs to compete with the big teams in Europe. With Nico on the left, Yamal on the right, and Rafinha playing more freely as he has shown in several games, the attack becomes a tactical nightmare for opponents. And Flick knows it. It's not about replacing Rafinha, it's about giving him and the team the tools to compete at the top. And that, my friends, is what Barcelona's critics don't want to see. Barca needs Nico Williams because it wants to be a major player in Europe again. Having only one high-level winger is not enough. Ask City, Real, Bayern. They have 3 or 4 top wingers. And us? I think Barcelona should sign Nico. Barcelona is moving forward in negotiations with Nico Williams with a personal agreement in place. Now, the club is looking to pay the striker's release clause, which is around 58 to 62 million euro with adjustments. To register the 2 players in La Liga, Barca needs to generate salary margin, but they are confident that they will not face the same obstacles as in the past with the registration of players such as Dani Olmo and Pau Victor. The club believes it will be able to register Joan Garcia and Nico Williams without any problems, complying with La Liga's 1.1 rule, which allows it to spend the same amount it saves. Barca sold 475 VIP seats at the future Camp Nou for 100 million euro at the end of 2024 to achieve this goal, but auditor Crow raised doubts, causing La Liga to consider that the club was still outside the rule. Even so, Laporta says the club is already within the limit, and the seats were built within the required deadline before June 30th. In addition, Barcelona needs to generate between 30 million and 40 million euro more. Part of this has already been secured with percentages of sales of former players such as Todibo, Ilaix, and Trincão, and the rest may come from future sales or new financial levers. The departure of high-salaried players will be essential. Ansu Fati is negotiating with Monaco, but the deal is stalled. Others such as Oriol Romeu, Iñaki Peña, Pablo Torre, Pau Victor, and even Ter Stegen are on the list of possible departures, with the German goalkeeper's salary considered unsustainable for a reserve. Ter Stegen's case is the most complicated, as he wants to fulfill his contract until 2028. Although the club does not plan any major sales, Ronald Araujo may be an exception. His clause will drop to 60 million euro between July 1st and 15, but will only be activated if he wants to leave. Finally, the club can also resort to a new La Liga rule, which allows it to register up to 3 new players even above the salary cap, 2 as free agents and 1 by transfer. But Barca hopes it will not need this exception to register Nico and Garcia. Lionel Messi was once again the star of the show, scoring a stunning free kick in Inter Miami's 2-1 victory over Porto in the Club World Cup, the first time an MLS team has beaten a European side in official competition.
I thought Inter Miami did really well, defended really well, which is something that they don't do naturally. Porto got disorganized, and there were times in the first half while Porto had a lot of the ball where Lionel Messi had time and space running at defenders, when Bezkremaski had time and space running at defender. Telasco Segovia as well, and had Inter Miami made a better decision in the attack, perhaps they could have gotten a chance here or there. Or if maybe Luis Suarez was able to run as he did 10 years ago, which he cannot do right now, there were moments in which he could get in behind and actually finish a chance here and there.
In the 54th minute, with the game tied, Messi took a perfect free kick, scoring his 68th career free kick goal behind only Pelé, 70, and Juninho Pernambucano, 77 in the all-time rankings. Even at 37, the Argentine star showed that he remains decisive and could be a key player in the 2026 World Cup, which will be held in the US. The international press reacted enthusiastically. Jose Fonte said Messi was touched by God, while Shay Given called him a genius and magician. He's influencing the game, he's controlling the game, he's controlling his teammates, he never loses the ball. Lionel Messi still has those incredible feet. At 37, he still dances, said former Scottish midfielder Don Hutchinson. Inter Miami teammate Fafa Picault said Messi is still the greatest player in the world. Social media was ecstatic about yet another feat by Lionel Messi. A simple post by Fabrizio Romano about his free kick goals reached almost 100,000 likes on X. With the goal against Porto, Messi reached 1,250 goal contributions in his career, 866 goals plus 384 assists, this being his 50th goal for Inter Miami since his arrival in 2023. In total, he has scored 754 goals for clubs. In addition, Messi is now the second highest scorer in the history of the Club World Cup, with 6 goals, 1 less than Cristiano Ronaldo. Inter Miami's victory was the club's first in this competition, an important milestone for a team founded only in 2018. Messi once again showed the world that his magic is far from over.
Inter Miami should be excited, Porto, not so much.
Yeah.